CLion, a cross-platform IDE for C and C++. Download now.
Right, don't panic. Right, I'm doing this is my second ever conference talk at ACCU. Welcome. I'm pointing at the camera for this one. Today we're going to be looking at eventually delivering better presentations, but really we are just going to be talking about talking. And there's the blurb. Again, if you're watching this YouTube video and you thought, what an X this, why don't I start watching it? Read this for a second. My grammar's somewhat okay and readable. Decide if you want to waste or use the next 70, 80 minutes, 90 minutes, really. What are we at? I wish I knew. So, who am I? Why should you listen to me? Why do I know anything about talking at all? How dare I decide to come to a C++ C conference and talk about talking when some people are talking about Rust, Go, Python. So, I've got to add my bit, and my bit is talking. It's the only bit I think I'm quite good at. I have experience of my first startings of really doing any sort of presenting was, I used to be terrified. Believe it or not, I was a very, very shy child, very shy. And I always hid. If you saw my lightning talk, I played a lot of console games. It's mainly what I did with my childhood, and that's why I love them so much. And it's why I'm so sad and thank you for everyone, by the way, if you've come and told me a game that you enjoy. You still have an opportunity to. Please do. But yeah, I didn't really get into presenting until I randomly got a job when I was studying software engineering at the University of Portsmouth. It was in my third year, because I started with electronics. I loved electronics at secondary school. That's sort of what spurred me on to follow some sort of engineering path. Did physics, maths, and economics at A-levels. Then I did electronic engineering. I realized that electronic engineering is very, very, very stuck. Because I don't know if anyone knows electronics, but if you have to utilize electronics, then the documentation hasn't changed, and it can't change because it's made that way, and that's how it works. So I was sort of like, wow, this is going to be very tough to be creative, and I wanted to be expansive for my imagination. So I was like, no, I'll try and do. And also, I kind of want to get a job afterwards. That would be good. Employment, as you know, Joshua. So yeah, I changed to software engineering, and I didn't have a clue what was going on for the first year. I had a lot of fun trying to figure out what on earth everything. Like I was saying to someone yesterday, like this will make you laugh because how can he not know that? But what was a virtual machine? I had no idea. People were talking to me like a virtual machine was a normal thing. When you're in the bubble of tech, you don't realize that you're in that bubble. And people outside that, they're like, what? I was like I struggled with, like, obviously, cloud compute. I don't want to start down that line, but cloud, virtual machine. I got there eventually. And it took me a while to sort of break into the people of software engineering, because they're so smart and so technical and so opinionated on how they like their things to be, and they decide to do it that way. And I was like, well, I don't know which way. What is the way? And that's why I've had such a lovely time here, because here has been actually very, very open and very non-judgmental so far, in my experience. I digress. So how I got good at sort of wandering around stage and being able to talk like this endlessly was because I failed my second year at software engineering partly due to COVID and the sadness that came with that. And I retook, but because I changed course in my first year, it meant that I had to pay for my own year on when I had to retake. I had to come up with my own money, and I didn't get told that until like a month until I started. It was like in August. So I was like, I need a job now. I got to get some money from somewhere, and I applied like crazy that whole year to get jobs. And one of the jobs I ended up doing somehow, I have no idea how I ended up doing this, but I used to give corporate and hen party cocktail party lessons, right? I had no idea. How it happened really was because I went on Indeed and I just applied for every single job that was on there because I was like, well, I need anything. I'll take anything because I'm not going to have 3 years at university and have to quit because I'm poor. Like, so yeah, it was great, but it was also terrifying. I remember my first ever hen party that I did. I turned up. I didn't have any soda water, so the mojito and the Tom Collins sort of went out the window. I didn't really. Luckily, they had lemonade, and they were nice enough to let me use their lemonade, and they had lots of it. I also didn't have enough glasses because I forgot them, so I let But through that, having to adapt on this very intense, where they're all staring at you like, entertain me now. I've paid a lot of money, and also I want to be drunk. And I remember because obviously I had to go buy the alcohol myself, and by doing that, it meant that this alcohol was technically mine, but like if there was a group of 10 people, they all have 10 drinks. So I buy the amount that there was. But when you start seeing them pick the vodka bottle up and start downing it, but I'm like, oh, well, God, stop, please. But wait, I can't ruin the party. But so yeah, by doing that, I have somehow, I don't know, developed some sort of presentation style. And this sort of leads into the overarching aim of this talk and why, hopefully, you came here. I don't know. Maybe it's just curious. I should be using the presenter view. What am I doing? So yeah, so here is my talk that I did at Gale's first ever. What was it called? I forget. It was the actual overarching talk. But I came on, I think it was last, and I made a lot of it's called fumbling forward, embracing mistakes in agile teams. I spent ages on this, and what was quite funny was that I actually afterwards noticed I wasn't very happy with what I delivered, and I made a lot of mistakes. So eventually deliver better presentations. So I'm here to hopefully do a better, rectify the mistakes I made here, and see if I can do a better presentation. And hopefully we can learn some things together along the way. So, firstly, I'd like to talk about what I have decided. I was a bit of debate about this yesterday around the bar. I'm going to call it landing because I just want to call it that. So when you start a talk, it is terrifying. Especially if you haven't done one before. Goodness, it's terrifying. Your hands get sweaty, your heart rate increases, you start to panic. I don't know if any of you did see my lightning talk, but I was panicked. I really thought that I did that presentation on the train up, quickly put it together. And I was like, oh, it's only a lightning talk. It should be simple. I should be able to do it on the train this time. I'll get to that later. And I went up and instantly whoa, that's a lot of people. And you're like, so here we are. So yeah, when I did my last talk, I didn't land very well. I sort of just was like, hello, my name is Jack. Here's my presentation. I read out the name and then just started on the ramble. Ideally, given I have 90 minutes here, that's amazing. It sounds scary, but it's actually, I think, phenomenal because it gives you time to like settle with you lot. So whenever you're giving a talk, you can take that moment to recognize you've got all of these faces looking at you, and try to calm yourself down. Lovely, I love that they've put cans of water here. It's absolute hack, because you can really deter attention. I mean, really, I could, if I wanted to, just sit here. I could even go sit in the crowd and not really say anything for a bit. I'd like to see how many of you left if I'd left it like 20, 30 seconds. I just start every conference by not doing anything and wondering what might happen. I mean, hopefully you came because maybe you saw what was, the synopsis of the talk, so you kind of want to stay. So you're like, what's happening? Is loading. I'm just loading. So yeah, when I did my first talk, this is what in my brain is what I came to think of, a sort of an analogy of how it sort of works when you're doing a talk. Because at first you land, right? And then depending on how well you land depends on the state of your plane. So when you go to take off and you get back into, the taxi, and then you're sat there through, this is now hopefully the taxi. Now we get into the long sort of seatbelt signs come off. But the thing is, if you crash on your landing, then you're going to have a bad time. It's going to be panicked. You're going to rush. You're going to freak out. You're not going to know where you are. A lot of the time, there's an image of that. If that happened, I wasn't that bad, but I'm definitely, I definitely want to improve, and I feel like I hopefully have. We'll see when I view this myself when it comes out on YouTube. So yeah, that was the first sort of mistake that I'd like to point out. That definitely, if you are thinking or haven't, if you want to do more talking, remember that I think the more experienced you get, the easier it becomes, and the shorter that time is for you to land and then take off again. But if you're worried that you're going to crash like crazy, just go slow. Give yourself more time. Let yourself land gently so that you don't destroy your plane when you want to take off again. So let's go on to the next mistake. I have no reason understanding why I think other people might understand my brain, because I just thought, oh, this would make perfect sense to everyone who's watching this. How will they not be able to understand everything that I understand? And I put this together. But that doesn't always work when you're presenting, because the one, I've got to retain your attention. Then we've got to talk about something. I mean, I'm doing it easy here, really, because I'm not really talking about I'm like, oh, here's my machine that's got 19 different packages in. Let's inspect them all individually. I didn't even do that, but even because I was talking about these sort of people skillsy stuff, I still put in too much detail. And what happens is, well, the people, they're like, well, what was the aim of that? Like, what if they just, instead of like leaving with like a clear takeaway, they just sort of feel like they've been thrown into a washing machine, and then like they've like left and they're like, well, that was entertaining, but I don't know what happened. Yeah, but the reason why I did it in my last talk was because, as Gail knows, my degree depended on it. So I looked at the mark scheme as I normally do and was like, right, I've got to cram this full with as much detail as possible. I've got to have references. There's going to be some references later that are very hilarious. If you were at my last talk, apologies. You might see them again. Right, what's next? Oh, yeah, no animation for this one because it's just, dead obvious. Can we really... do we need to talk about this one? Really? Where, oh, there you are. Thank you. Where are we at? Pardon? 1 hour. 1 hour and 13 minutes. Perfect. So, if I sit here for 10 minutes, then that's good timekeeping. Oh, it tells me here. That's amazing. So I'm learning on the fly here. I had no idea. See, this is what I mean. You've got to, we'll get to this later. I want to talk about it now, but the slides. But by doing presenting, you learn how to timekeep because you can't do it in your room. It's not the same situation. If you practice it a million times, it will never, ever, ever, ever be the same because your feelings, random things happen, like the AV not working, or like, just random, you might have a, I don't know, a flashback to a bad memory, or the light might be too bright and it will put you off. And then you could miss a minute. And then if you've made your presentation tight, 90 minutes, I need all of these minutes, then you're pretty screwed. Hopefully this talk won't be, it's not going to be the full 90 minutes, I'll tell you now. Please, at any point, interject. If you have a comment, it comes to your head, don't go and put it away somewhere. Just come out of it straight. Oh, hello, yes. I love to be challenged, and please be harsh.
So yeah, like what you're saying, the timekeeping, like if you were to do it to the 90 minutes, you've actually just then denied the audience question times or interaction time.
Exactly, right?
This
and this, right? And also the sort of the idea that as a speaker, you've got this like room that you can chill out and like I can, if I've forgotten the next slide, I can sit here and maybe you can do that, like, but you can't do that if you've done it tight. It's horrible, right? Yeah, exactly. Don't really need to talk about this one anymore. It would be boring. Oh, and thank you. Yes.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to add about timekeeping, just how lovely it is to have somebody there doing it for you.
It's amazing.
Trying to keep track of it yourself, I mean, it's really important, but it's quite difficult when you're in the flow of it. So thank you very much. It really helps having somebody there doing that job for you.
I was going to say, have you always been doing this every year? Have you guys always been around in your green t-shirts? You have?
Yeah.
Wow. Such a good conference. Read the screen.
I only noticed this stealth thing this year that people do, where they have like a whole bunch of slides and they're looking at the time and they're like, "Yep, don't have time for those." And that's the end of my presentation. It's like, and now I skip to the conclusion, and I never thought of doing that before.
Yeah. Well, I learned a little hack yesterday that I didn't. I mean, firstly, as I may have just said, I'm on presenter view. If you don't know what presenter view is, I guess you won't know until you do some presenting. Like, because this is amazing. Like, there's so much on here that you guys can't see. I'm loving this. So I've got black or unblack. Oh, look at that. That's fun. See all? Can I see? Oh, I can see all my slides. So can I go and apparently I can go and hide them before. Oh no. Ah! Let's go back. We're going back. There we go. Right. Got a little teaser there. Oh, giving it away. There's a pen on here. That's fun. So great. So yeah, I mean, I had no idea you could do all of these things. Honestly, life-changing. Screen, so many things. Yeah, so like I can see the next slide. So like if I catch myself, which I did in my last talk, I had no idea what was coming. If you go and watch my first talk, there's a moment where I'm like, oh, great. If my slides had been working, that would have been nice. Because like I love an animation. I don't know if you can tell. And yeah, I forgot to do like 2. So like the end of the slide was there. And you had, I was like, well, this is pointless now because the whole point is that you go logically through. So yeah, I can see what's, before it's coming. So next one, wasted efforts. This is a little bit just to, I'll take this clicker. Clicker, another amazing thing. I'm glad they provide them because I can't afford one. So another part of the talk that I last did, I created 2 posters and a leaflet to go alongside my talk. Now, because of the failure of this, I didn't really get to talk about them. So that was really sad. So this is a bit specific to my talk, to be honest. So, I mean, if you ever do create some extra resources or you want some sort of interaction, make sure, again, that you have given time for it, because you forget like we're nearly at 30 minutes now, and I've just been like, we haven't got going. So yeah, make sure that if you've done work, make sure it's emphasized. Don't let this ruin your life, because it can. And so here is probably the funnest thing that totally car crashed my mark, and not only my presentation almost, you can't really see it because I hid it quite well and I adapted on stage to just try and waffle my way through broken slides. But on the train, I don't know why. So we had a very good, I recommend if you are worried, I'm the type of person that I think if I practice, I will just freak out and I'll be strict and regimented. And I think I'm going to have to follow these guidelines. My brain doesn't really work like that. So it's much better if I just sort of give myself like, I don't know, a road that's got cushions down the side. So I can go down it, but it stops me from getting too far from the narrative and I bounce back into the direction. But Gail was kind enough to review my talk, and we did a mock one, and it was all A-okay'd, and then I changed it. Thinking, yeah, this is what it needs to be. The entire train was just like absolute panic. And when I got here, I didn't even get to really enjoy any talks because I was just panicking over my presentation the whole time outside there, like, I've ruined it now, and now I don't even know what I'm doing. And like, I could have just left it. When you get to the day, ideally, you want to have your presentation, I think, done for that day, and like, just let it be done. Just roll with it, see what happens. The whole point, right? Eventually deliver better presentations. You're never going to deliver the perfect presentation. You're only going to get better at doing presentations as you do more of them, because you'll get to know how you present and what works for you. But you can't do that if you try and pressure yourself into the idea of that I'm not going to do it if it's not going to be amazing. Like, let it be bad. And then so like I got so lost. I was like, I had to just like, I was like, I don't even know why this is here. Like, what is this slide? Coming back to presenter view, that would have been a miracle, because I would have been like, why did I put that in there? But to be honest, I had 20 minutes, so like not really enough time to go and sit there and ponder my life choices. So, amazing. This is I love this graphic. Basically, if you have, messed up by doing this, don't just try and adapt for it and try and make some sort of sense of the absolute malarkey that you've come out with, because anyone with some sort of brain will probably see through it, and secondly, you're going to kick yourself afterwards. So you might just have to go and, do that. Sorry, I'm going to skip this bit. I have no idea why this is here. Like, be honest. Be like, yeah, this is a load of rubbish. I need to move past this. Like, accept that. No one's going to judge you for the fact that one slide, or maybe a few, depends how bad the chaos got, and then carry on talking. Like, it will be fine. And then you'll have time for questions at the end. More questions. Hopefully your talk's interesting, so you get some questions. Again, so I've tried my best with this to learn from seeing some of the talks that I've seen, and ones that I've struggled to understand. The ones I struggle to understand are the ones that have like a million things on the screen, and also like am I meant to be listening to you or trying to interpret this at the same time? Like, which one? I can't. My brain's I can only really hook onto one thing, right? So I had so much stuff going on, and it was just all over the place. It's much better, I think, for my presentation style, as I like to sort of run off of, as I say, the road with the bouncy sides. Images are great for this because they allow you to it's almost like a cue for yourself to know where you are. And to it's like a talking point. So it's like, oh, okay, because I see cognitive overload and I'm like, right, what was that about? Give myself, this is all for me. This is not for you. The image is for you because it's somewhat interesting and fun to look at. But really, this is all to guide me in my narrative of where I want to get to with this talk and where I want to leave you, hopefully, learning afterwards. Does anyone know what this is? I know one person in here definitely does. I'm not going to point them out. A PEA paragraph, right? Anyone that did GCSE English, I don't know if they changed it now. PEE?
Yeah, point, evidence,
Yes.
something.
Yes, point, evidence, explain. Sometimes they add an L on as well.
What's the
Feel.
A?
Analysis.
Analysis, thank you.
Yeah, so this is how you structure most answers in history, English, probably like media, any type of written, psychology. All of the humanities require you to sort of engage this brain. You should probably think about this when you're doing your talk, because otherwise it's just mad rambling. Like, what is the aim? What again, going back to where was it? The sort of this. What did I even just listen to? Like, if you let me get there. If you don't have some sort of clear structure for what your talk is going to achieve, what every a great person once told me I should storyboard because by doing that, it means that you clearly know where your narrative is, and this is a bit overkill, to be honest. You have to do a PEA paragraph. It's just me, trying to be nostalgic about my education.
Yeah.
But
Can I say about PEA? I've done some tutoring for GCSE English students in my murky past, and I found one of them was trying to do this, and it really hamstrung him in trying to write it. But it is still useful. So for some people, it might be useful to think about it when you write it.
yeah,
But for a lot more people, I suspect it's useful as go write it and then see if you've covered it. Writing is rewriting.
yeah,
Right? So
yeah.
I think it's really useful as a review tool.
Yeah, like an
Sometimes
afterthought, definitely.
it's crippling as a.
Yeah, I
if
can
you're trying
see
to
how that
start
would work, to be fair. Yeah, because you'd be like, oh, I don't know how to start. Because if you want it, you could start with the evidence, couldn't you? Or the analysis. And then you'd be like, oh, okay, well, I need to have a point about this. So it doesn't matter where your brain starts on the thread. But just make sure that you've hopefully covered these things across the whole presentation and in your individual slides as best you can. I don't know where I found that. It's a firework. I can't believe it. There's a dog on bamboo. Love it. Oh, okay, right. So it is at this point we have looked at my mistakes. I'm going to stay behind here. I'm going to pretend now, Mr. Green Man, I want a 20-minute, can you give me like a 10-minute wave of the arms from when I sort of walk out?
Yeah.
And then give me like a 5-minute after that. Is that possible? Could you do that? Oh, I'm asking for a lot here, aren't I? Sorry. I'm going to try my best to smash through my old talk. Right, I'm not going to come out yet because you're going to start timing. But basically, we're going to try and do the talk that I did when I first came to ACCU, and we're going to try and fix those mistakes that I've just talked about, of which it was experienced in that talk. So. Let's imagine that you haven't seen me. I mean, I would come and walk out the room, but I think staying behind here is fine. I'm just going to imagine, right? Okay. Hello. Welcome. I hope you're all comfortable. Today, I'm going to be talking about fumbling forward. Here's a lovely graphic of something. I've already made a mistake. What if it's not actually relevant yet? We're going to be talking about embracing mistakes. Why? Because I think it's cataclysmic for anyone that does software engineering if you have a team that doesn't embrace their mistakes, and we'll go through and show you why. To start off, I would like to regret putting this here because it doesn't. It should be the next slide. Let's go. See, and like we learned, don't let yourself go into the abyss. We're going to move on and then come back to that. So this is apparently the lean methodology sort of flow cycle. Somewhat. I had to find an image. It's 2 years old, by the way. I may also be wrong. Please point me out on how correct this is. So the idea is that before you do any engineering, you want to do this a lot. Do this cycle until you have an actual idea to solve something. Because otherwise, what are you solving? Does anyone want it? No? What's the point? What are you going to get out of it? So once you've done that, then we can start thinking about, okay, right, this is a software engineering project. What are we going to do? So then we might want to engage the agile methodology. This is, he's not here, thankfully, but I nicked this from Kevlin's presentation that he gave to me 2 years ago. And I liked it because it's quite simple about how the agile methodology works. In that, even though you've done somewhat some planning, some doing, and some studying, but this is now in the engineering space of making the thing. You found the thing. Now you make the thing, and then when you made the thing, well, hey, we did it. Amazing. We have some software. Let's put it into production. Let's solve things or make money. Sometimes both. Now. I am very talented at illustration. And also English grammar. There's not even capitalization. It's awful, isn't it? And where's the bit to his mouth? He assumed, sorry. But it's me. There we go. But this is most people, I'd think, right? Like, who does? Does anyone actively love making mistakes? Really? When? How? Come on, where's the mic? You dug yourself a hole now, mate.
It's all the mistakes I make in my head that aren't actually mistakes in real life, but they just feel like mistakes.
Oh, okay. That's a bit philosophical. I like it.
I think love's a strong word. But there's strong evidence that making a mistake generates an error signal in the brain, which causes you to learn faster and to correct better. So there's, for example, recommendations for music practice, which is like try screwing up more often.
Yeah.
You will become more focused and more able to actually not screw up in the future. So I think that's a life lesson there.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyone else want to talk about the joy of mistakes, maybe?
I never make mistakes. Occasionally, occasionally the universe makes a lot of mistakes, but I never make them.
A guy I used to work for a long time, whose intelligence I greatly respected, said that the measure of your measure as a engineer is how many mistakes you've made. The more
Yeah.
mistakes, the better you are.
Right, exactly. Because you know how many things can go wrong. So we're going to go back to the abyss. The growth mindset, as it says here, I'm going to read it out. I can hope you can all read. That is essentially what it is. It's like embrace making mistakes because of this. You learn by doing, you learn by feeling, you learn by finding out. If you don't believe that, you know, if you like Dom, then you just always get everything right. Then I don't know. Are you here? Well, you can't be really because you perfection every time. Brilliant. Right. Okay. So, yeah, I don't like having mistakes. A lot of the reasons why in corporate situations, especially, and also, I mean, like student teams, anyone in a team, no one likes to be talked. No one likes to be this person, really. I don't know. At any point have I enjoyed being shouted at? Yeah. So yeah, well, if you want to have a growth mindset, it's easier if you have psychological safety available, because, as it says here, you can express your opinions, ask questions, and admit mistakes without fearing negative consequences. As I'm trying to do here, right before your eyes with the whole talk, not just this 20-minute one that's sort of segueing into the main talk. So if you don't have any psychological safety, what can happen is people scared to make mistakes. People are scared to own up to the mistakes they've already made. And you can end up with this stage being really wishy-washy and you're not really getting much out of it. And if you've got deadlines and you've been forced to, you know, make something to fix, there's a problem. We don't really know the problem very well. That's how this normally starts coming about, because you have to have something to start with, right? You can't just randomly come out and solve something that you haven't thought about. What? Oh my goodness! That is meant to say software engineering project. This is my old slide. I edited it, and again, here we are. I've made a mistake, but we're going to roll with that one. If you have a lack of input, if anyone's wondering, that is what I did as part of a module, and this is kind of what happened, because we got the idea very quickly, but because no one really, the whole team didn't really know how we got here, this happened. And it didn't really work very well, and we ended up having an unrealized solution. It was, you know, great in vision, but it didn't really happen. Do you know where I am in my 20 minutes? Oh, amazing! Thank you. Right, has anyone done skydiving? Wow, adrenaline junkies in the crowd. How was it? Was it scary? Were you terrified? Okay, right. Okay, cool. Well, has anyone trekked through a jungle? Really? When? What jungle? Oh, that's amazing. Exactly. terrifying, right? This is a perfectly HD image of Mount Everest. Has anyone been up to the top of Mount Everest? Right. All of these things have, I'd argue, the probability of dying or painful injury, if you wanted to scale, not just look at it, but scale it, probably quite high. Now, what is the probability of dying in a team working on the lean methodology in an agile software methodology environment? Like, what do you reckon? Like, how many people have died from trying to make a solution? Oh, maybe, yeah. Why are we scared to make mistakes if there's no risk of death? I don't really know. But what I do know is Agile is very safe. I love this slide because I put that in there because Good. So if we have no psychological safety in one of these teams to make some software, we're going to have a fear of making mistakes. If we have a fear of making mistakes, we're probably going to get fixed mindsets in these teams of the individuals, which means they are not going to do anything that they're going to make a mistake in. So they're not going to challenge themselves. They're not going to learn anything. Because they're not learning, they're terrified of sharing their mistakes and everything. So you get like sort of siloed individuals in a team. No one really knows what's going on. Obviously. What happens? I think, does this happen? Does this happen to anyone? Hopefully. Okay, right. Will it just start playing? Hopefully. Right, okay. Momentarily. This is really lackluster. I hope for it to be better.
Lule pa most. Lule una voz para minions.
You get 3. You get 2. Oh, you get 1. There you go. There we are. A banana. There you go. Bananas. Wow. There you are. Oh, they're all over the place. Can't believe it. See, last time I put on a onesie, but Primark ran out of onesies this year, I think. So I'm left with this. Where's the clicker? This. Where have I put it? Oh, here it is. We stole the moon. We stole the moon. The moon. A freeze ray. As a minion. I'm meant to be a minion, by the way, if you can't tell. A freeze ray? Have you seen such things? A fart gun? Banana! And these guys, I don't know if you've seen the films, they are terrifying. These are terrifying characters. We beat them all. Just stuck them to it. Excuse me. All slides. I love this. Oh, it's amazing. There we go. Don't walk into the abyss. So minions, what's so amazing about them? Why are we doing this? Well, they feel valued. Their opinions are considered. They're always like, I don't know if you've ever seen a Despicable Me film. I recommend you do, for the point of improving your software engineering teams. Can you believe it? Because this is the ideal team worker, because they have open team communication, collaboration. Like they're not scared to make mistakes. They're not scared to own up about them and share them with the team and then work on them. But if you share mistakes with someone and they don't know how to help, well, who's going to, what do you need Dr. Nefario, right? We need someone who is not judgmental, but also somewhat of an expert. Now, in today's world, this can be GPT sometimes, I guess. But, reach out to people, do it the old way. They celebrate small wins, like, when you do a little thing, make sure to celebrate that because it's hard going. Like, there's a lot of parts to software engineering and it's tough. So pat yourself on the back every now and then. Just because you haven't finished the whole thing doesn't mean you should be upset. And then they have a direct, dedicated, empathetic leader in Gru. So absolutely a perfect representation of right. So if we have lovely clicker. So in the Minions world, they have psychological safety, which means they have no fear of making mistakes, which means then they probably have a growth mindset, which means they probably take on lots of challenges, which means they make many, many mistakes. And then they do so much learning, like you pointed out earlier. They start talking about their mistakes happily. So you start knowing, like, oh, instead of two people working on one thing and then both of you doing it at the same time, you might let the other person know that you did the thing before them doing it, maybe. That can happen. So you have a synergized team. So, what in the modern, like where we are right now with where technology is, what is impossible if you have this? All you need is psychological safety, and you can steal the moon. Oh, right. So I've worked through putting my slides in the wrong places somehow. So I guess we're doing what we said. So yeah, make more discoveries, better ideas, synergize the teamwork. We get the moon. Now, to point out the fact that I said wasted articles. Anyone know the Clangers? I got permission from the son of the Clangers, because the original creator is no longer with us, unfortunately. His son is now the owner of everything. And he let me make this and host it on a website for this talk 2 years ago. I'm sure he won't mind me doing it again. So the idea of this is that you could stick it somewhere where people are scared to make mistakes and maybe they read from it and maybe they see some stuff. If you like the look of that, there is also this lovely, all of this. Sorry, Gail, but I didn't actually do much of the design. It looks lovely, right, with all the different colors and stuff and this little graphic. I didn't actually, I utilized my partner for that. You should have seen how bad no. Look, all of the words were me. No. I've got my degree now. You can't take it away. Yeah, you should have seen how tragic this looked before. It looked awful. Yeah, thankfully my girlfriend went and fixed it for me. How kind of her. So yeah, that's all there. That is on, I know we hate QR codes, cybersecurity and all that, awful. So here's the link to where these are in high quality PDFs. So if you do want to, I don't know, print one off or have a look at it, share it with someone, they're here. This is my partner who did all the artwork. She's much more talented than that. She's going to hate me. I haven't even told her that I did this. She's like, no. Yeah, there we are. That was it. Embracing mistakes and agile teams. So where are we at with the time? Did I make it in 20 minutes? 2 minutes. Come on, quick. Questions. Where are we at? Pardon? Okay, sure. I'll do that. Banana? Banana. Any other questions about psychological safety, growth mindsets? And yep. If I planning on inventing a lipstick taser, I don't know. Is that not being invented already? Was it? Oh, I'm a fake fan, obviously. We have to go and rewatch it. Well, it isn't the latest one, is it? I haven't seen it now. Yeah. How do you know? Hello. Can we? Oh no! Oh, amazing. So look, these guys have got their work cut out for them. I see. I think there's some more stuff. Oh, yeah, there's references. Very nice. Can you believe it? References for, where is it? This one. 7 habits that every team can learn from Minions. Gail was mind blown that I had a reference for. I remember that.
I was impressed with that one. I remember. Despite having shot yourself in the foot with the changes on the train that then tripped you up and gave you that horrible moment in the presentation, did you enjoy the experience?
So much. I learned. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't do that. And it was a complete shambles, right? Not to put, if any one of you are thinking like, oh, I don't want that to happen to me, you kind of need to let it happen to you because you're not going to learn. You got to learn it. We're going to get there. Thank you very much, Gail. That segue is very. Let's move on from this one to not even here. This one, if it comes up, there you go. So, you are the talk, right? You are the soul. When you're giving a talk, you're pretty much the soul and body of said talk. You can only learn to do talking by doing talking, and it helps you learn yourself a bit more, what you're comfortable with, how your brain works in these sort of flight or fight situations where things go wrong in presentations. And as you've seen, I've actually handled it a lot better than I did in my last one. So I've delivered a better presentation, thankfully, I think anyway. So yeah, if you haven't spoken yet and you want to go and do a 90 minutes, why not? Like, what have you got to lose? As I said, what are the risks of death? I think, hang on again. Aha! What risk of death is there? I might have a panic attack, but as I said, that's your landing. So like, if you're freaking out, if you're doing a 90 minutes, you have so much time to stop panicking, rein yourself in a little bit, and then just think, okay, what am I talking about? And hopefully I might inspire some of you to think, well, when I first came here, as some of you might see, I did a lightning talk on Wednesday. I was going to do that lightning talk 2 years ago when I was here to do that talk on embracing mistakes in agile teams. I wimped out at the last second because I didn't think it was very technical. And I thought, well, it's a C++ conference. Why, if it's not going to be... let me just finish this strand. If it's not going to be a technical talk, then what place does it have? But really, I think it somewhat brightens everyone's. It gives a little bit. It's like a bit of a taste reliever. So, like, if you just want to get started, just do a talk, and you're worried you don't even want to think about doing the technical bit yet. Just get off the stage and do something that you're passionate about, something that's somewhat related to tech. I mean, I did making mistakes in agile teams, software engineering teams, so it's somewhat technical. But it's more technical about the teams and how they work and how people work within teams, less about, what language, what stack you're using, etc. Oh, we've got one here first.
Is it okay if I comment on your current presentation as to the way...
Please, that is what I'm looking for.
Okay, one of the things you keep doing, and I recommend somehow stopping that,
yes,
is you start a train of thought, you don't get it to any end, and you jump on a different train of thought.
Oh, okay.
You actually keep doing that.
Oh, so
Right,
I don't notice
consistently
that. So that's really
all the time.
interesting. So hopefully, when this talk comes out on YouTube, I'll be able to spot that myself. Hopefully, that is the perk of having it made into a YouTube video, I think, as well. Because you have no idea, really.
Have you ever watched your presentation?
Yeah, I think I'm doing better than I did in my last one. See that one?
I have tried to watch my presentations. It's horrible.
Yeah.
What a jerk. Can you stop flailing with your arms? Fix your voice. I also do way much ass and earth and something like that. It's kind of, I hate it. But yes, it's actually worthwhile watching.
Yeah. Thank you for that, though. That's really, I said, like, how am I going to know how to get better at talking on stage without, like, being critiqued? Like, you have to sort of embrace the criticism that you're going to receive because it's so valuable. Because you don't know. If no one tells you anything, you just assume that went well. Did it? That's why it was quite nice that Gail marked me in my last one. Because it did really point out where I went wrong.
Although actually picking up on that, it's also as a presenter, you have to be true to who you are. And if I'm completely honest, I cannot see you staying on one track.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but that's you, right? That's right. But what I was actually going to say was on the technical bit. Yeah, we're back to the imposter syndrome, right?
Yeah.
Joshua absolutely nailed it in his lightning talk. The people stuff is extraordinarily important. So don't be afraid of talking about that because that's, yes, it's not the deep techie stuff. If that's not the stuff you've got something to share on, that's fine. These human things are crucially important. So I mean, I would strongly recommend if you don't feel it for the deep techie stuff, don't go do that, right? You would be an imposter probably, but it doesn't stop you talking about these things.
I mean, I still do feel it when I'm talking up here talking about this because it's like, who am I to say I don't have a degree in talking on stage? So, like, who are you to believe me?
Yeah, but then you're talking to people. It's pitched for if you've thought of doing this and haven't quite dared.
Yeah.
I mean, that coming from someone slick is it's kind of it's like I can't be that. It's kind of. I'm like, hang on, So his T-shirt says, "I learned everything I know from Kevlin Henney." Right? People have also said to me, "I want to be Kevlin Henney when I grow up."
Yeah.
I would. That's you as well. Right? Yeah. And none of us. Kevlin is the only one who's going to be Kevlin Henney, but we can all be who we are as presenters, and it's just about embracing that.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. That's a cool thing to think about. Yeah.
I think it's just quickly to point out with that particular slide, according to the list of entertainers who died during a performance page on Wikipedia.
Oh, no.
Depending on how you define technical, I think it's one. However, it is much, much safer than being an actor or a musician, of which there are many.
Oh, no. Well, there you have it. You're much safer than being a musician.
I was going back to your point on sort of your first talk and that sort of thing. I'd definitely say do something you care about. I would say be honest with yourself, be true to yourself, and talk about something you are passionate about, you care about, not just something you feel you've been doing or you've been working on, something like that. I mean, it's good to have a story, but if you care about something, that comes across in presentation as well.
So while we're still all completely wrecking Jack's time,
no, this is perfect. We're at.
I'm gonna take this nice and slow. Has anybody here not heard the phrase "the audience wants you to succeed"?
What was that again?
The audience wants you to succeed.
The audience wants you to succeed.
Yeah, you got to remember that.
I've never thought of that.
And also, everybody in the audience is a volunteer, just as you are. So they weren't marched in at gunpoint. So. Bear this in mind when you're giving a talk. It's like, there's a reason why we're all here.
Oh.
The audience wants you to succeed unless you're presenting at an academic conference.
Well, so the thing is, right, I reckon that, if you do want to present at an academic presentation, start with something like this first, because it's going to be easier to get used to being on stage doing this. And then you can start working. As I progress through my career, I hope to get more technical and learn more stuff and solve safety in C++, apparently. And, then because you've done like those initial talks on stuff you're passionate about, like lightning talks here and there, it makes that you'll be much more experienced for what was there before. Did I make any mistakes? I love word art. Sorry.
No, it's going like many comments back, but I feel like reviewing your own video footage can actually be quite reassuring. Like there's so much stuff that goes on in your own head that nobody can observe, and watching it back, you go, yeah, nobody could notice.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just add a bit to that. Yeah, I once very bravely included a video in a keynote presentation. Checked everything very carefully the day before. Windows decided it wasn't going to save the changed settings. So there I am in front of 300 people, press the button for the video, no sound coming out. And honestly, that felt like about 17 years. And I did watch it back on the video, and it was kind of like, time passes very weirdly up there.
Yeah. I feel like it's passing at like normal time for me here right now. I think it's when things when they get really wrong and you get into that state of panic, that you feel that. But then that panic's like, so to get onto that.
Just one question. One thing that wasn't mentioned yet, of course, the chances of me dying on stage are rather low.
Yes.
But yet again, time is the most valuable thing you got. And the audience is going to invest theirs in you. And you have some actual real responsibility there. And this is a real high pressure. And I'm feeling it. And it's, So, and you can't actually deny that.
Well, you've got to start though at some place. Like you as long as you give it your best go, like don't just not care about it. Like try and see what happens. See if it goes well.
So I had a question about the part that you mentioned to like when you overload it with details.
Yeah.
So normally, like if you give a technical talk, you want to convey a lot of, oh, this is what I learned, this is there, this is
Yes.
all the features and something. But again, I guess it becomes too much as a listener to grasp everything.
Yeah.
What would you recommend is a good way to like filter through things, or is it just like providing a list of resources at the end if somebody wants to know
What I would do is I would go and watch I would watch some presentations of people doing that and maybe watch a few of them and see if you can spot any comparisons between presentations that overwhelm you cognitively and then ones that sort of take you on a journey. Yours was quite good yesterday, Tom. I liked that. An introduction to Go. With everything, it was all technical, but you started from somewhere, and then you hopefully you hold on to everyone and you drag them along. A bit like, I mean, even like some teaching. Good. Look at maybe some like computer science teaching videos again. Compare how they teach, because it's almost you're doing not the same. You're conveying information, which is what teachers do, but you're not trying to learn them. Yes, I noticed.
I'll put a little comment on that. When you're doing like sort of talks, technical, human, fluffy stuff, whatever, it's important that you know very clearly what you're talking about, right? Like, for me, it would make no sense for me to talk anything C++ because I don't know that much, right? So I have no hope of communicating that, but it's sort of like, the topic choice is clear. You have to have not mastered necessarily, but have a really good grasp of what you're doing. I think that's clear.
Can I crack on? Sorry, guys. I want to get. I know you've got so much to add. We can get there, but let me just finish this off because it will just make you want to question more. Sorry to cut you there. So going over the project, was it perfect? No, probably. Was it better? I guess. Did it achieve what I wanted to achieve? Yeah, I got up on stage. I got some more experience points. But now I do think about these things. After having that, I think maybe not. After what you said as well, the audience wants you to succeed. That's a really good thing to think about, because I did think this in the last one, and I'm sure that anyone who goes and does this has maybe flickering moments of this, especially like when you get these weird, eerie moments of silence. There, and it tends to that as well, and hopefully not. But do we care? I don't think so, because like you got up on stage, you did as long as you did what you hoped to, you've helped yourself get better. So you don't really need to worry about any of this as long as you've done it. And then just give yourself some room for that discussion at the end. So to get on to the end bit, the bit that I wanted to get to, just because I've overwhelmed it, is any tips. You guys have shared some tips already, so I didn't go there. But here's my top tips. So I'm going to blast through these. So we've got some time. So yeah, number one, obviously, like really, no one talks about it enough. Yeah, that one as well. Yeah, they give you water, by the way. Don't drink too much though, because we end up with one being cancelled out. I'm free for an hour and a half, remember? Stop. So yeah, the pausing, like take a moment, breathe. Exactly, as I've been talking very much about in this talk and how much I've enjoyed using it. Yes, I haven't done this very well in this talk, to be honest. There's been got a lot of questions, and I hope they've all been picked up. Damn it! Yeah, and slowly, so everyone can hear properly. And so also, what the heck? Do you know how long it took? I did this hungover, not gonna lie, because it was so. They're all like, look at the line spacing; it's all over the place. Because I wanted it to be an animation. I did it in one paragraph, and then I did animations for each line, highlighting, and then I realized it just did the whole block of the text block. I was like, oh, great, okay, I have to do separate ones, and you have to move them around, and it was horrible. So yeah, pardon? Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so slowly. So you can, as someone tells you a question, if you repeat the question, it gives yourself a chance to think of what the answer is, instead of just giving them an answer straight away that you maybe don't know. That says assume under there. No one can interpret your code, because in that way, that's what, there you are. Assume that might help, maybe. Just to think that, imagine that no one knows anything is always it's a bit like, that's what I'm putting my usability hat on there. Have a simple narrative. By that, I mean, have like an aim. So my aim was we're going to get there actually. Use slides of narrative checkpoints. So I try and do this the best I can. I just think it's a good thing to do. Rejoice harsh criticism. Thank you, sir. I don't know your name. But, oh no, is that more? No, hang on, please. Wait, we haven't got time. Rationalize the fear of
deliberate typo, right?
Pardon?
It's a deliberate typo, right?
Is it? In the whole presentation.
And top tip, you should have said yes.
Damn it. I thought, honestly, I read it so many times and I was like, deliver, is that? I thought it was right. I didn't get autocorrect. Oh, damn. So I should be doing more writing with pen and paper and then like read it. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Use the fear as fuel. This is a great point. So nothing gets you taking off, like landing quickly, because you got more speed, more momentum. So when you crash, as long as you try and pull it back up, you can really have perfect for lightning talks. That's kind of what you need to utilize. Like just go up and let the fear consume you, and then hopefully it will be quite entertaining. Make life easy for yourself. Coming back to like, this is more like technical things, like don't try and give a presentation on something that you're not comfortable giving a presentation on, really. Like, remember, you're going to answer questions at the end of it. So have some idea of what you're talking about. Here's some more. There we are. I couldn't be bothered to animate these ones. So yeah, land safely, but then, you know, if you want to use the fuel to fit, this is a bit annoying, I put that there. Minimize slide detail, we talked about that. So this is a summary of the ones that came before, and I added some more here. I added that wasn't hit. That was last night when I was like, all done. And I was like, no, I need to add these. Yeah. So let's close the narrative. We are at 1 minute 19. How amazing. If you're thinking about doing a talk, you haven't done one yet, or you're thinking about doing a talk on something that you want to do a talk on, but maybe you're a little bit scared to, if you've done talking before, you want to do it on something new. Really, anything terrifies you about getting up on stage and talking about something, basically. Stop worrying, because what is the worst that could happen? You're probably going to eventually deliver a better presentation by doing it. There we are. Thank you very much. Oh. I'm going to take this yellow t-shirt off. Right, questions, come at me. Let's go. I hope you remembered them.
Yeah. So picking up on your "do they hate me" bit, a lovely thing about a multi-track conference like this is that they can get up and they can go somewhere else, right? I'm a firm believer in the law of 2 feet. I've used it myself this week. If you're in something, it's not necessarily even a comment on the speaker. Sometimes you just get a mismatch. You realize you've made the wrong choice. It's not the best choice for you. You don't have to sit there and put up with it. And also, thank you very much for making it clear at the beginning that you were fine if people wanted to go out, but you didn't do it in you might not like that. You didn't do it in a sort of, this
Like
is really rubbish sort of
yeah.
way. You just are free to go. I once went to a talk at this very conference, not here in Bristol, where someone said, right, I'm going to be talking about this, this, and this, all these things in computer science. And I'm not a computer scientist, so they were new to me, and I thought, great, this would be really useful. And then he said, just kidding, if you don't already know those, you may as well leave now. At which point, I kind of couldn't. So I sat there for 90 minutes of stuff going over my head. So
that's so mean.
Yeah, it was very mean, yeah. And I can't even say his name, so it's all right, so I can't name him. But it's, the only thing you're responsible for them is thinking about what you want them to get out of it, right? So not about what you want to say, but what you want them to get from it.
Yeah.
And if you're doing your best to put across the things that you want them to take from it, if that's not landing with them, they don't have to stay, right? So you don't have to worry about them. And also you see people faffing around on their, doing their work emails or whatever, it's somewhere to sit. So please don't ever worry about that.
Yeah. So
care about having content.
Yeah.
Thinking about what you want them to take away, but and just concentrate.
I guess that comes into like here a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, you're way better at that than I am.
I've been embarrassed a lot in my life. That is why I'm okay. Any others? So for the video's sake, that was Gail was saying how you need to not worry about what the crowd thinks really and how they react. As long as you're doing the talk and you've done, your hardest work, and just do it. And some people will enjoy it.
I just wanted to disagree with Dietmar's assertion that you start a topic and then don't carry on. I think you start a topic and the rest of the audience seems to stop you from carrying on by pretending you are tangent. So it's us who are at fault, not you. Yeah. So you need a better audience.
Like, be more assertive on the crowd. Well, no, I kind of want it now. We've got 8 minutes, technically. Come on. Is there any point? Is any slides that anyone had any issues with at any point? Oh.
I was just going to point out that whenever you're doing a presentation, you've spent ages thinking about it before you get there, and you forget, or at least I do, that the people that are in the room probably haven't spent ages thinking about it. And it seems obvious to you because you've just spent weeks of your life thinking about it. And just remember that it's not obvious to everyone, and try to think back to how it was when you started looking at it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us, particularly in a technical business like ours, we're afraid of looking stupid.
Yes, exactly. That is hitting the nail on the head of everything. Like, don't be because it's classic imposter syndrome, isn't it?
I just wanted to add to what Roger was saying, and I think Accu is particularly difficult to kind of target the audience because you've got people who are literally writing papers, working on like ISO C++ standard, and then people who are just starting their careers, and trying to pitch something in the middle that keeps everyone entertained is
But
super hard.
remember, as Gail just said, they can leave.
I think, to continue on that theme, so none of the talks here at this entire conference are actually lectures where you have to turn up and get credits for your course. So we're in the performance mode.
Yeah.
And performance mode is you have to tell that story, get to the end, do the hero's journey, all that kind of Joseph Campbell stuff. And the most important thing that's going to happen there is that the audience synchronizes. These are special neurons in your brain that sync with you. So you need to provide those cues. And that's a really good point about the pictures.
Yeah.
Because they're immensely powerful. And if you've got a firm track in your mind that you're working on, by some magic, that will actually get imprinted better or worse in the audience. And your job as you get better is just to make that imprint stronger over time, to develop a forceful signal, basically.
Yeah, I guess I understand what you're conveying and how that's going to come across. It'd be good if I could get that Men in Black gun and then go and look at my presentation. That would really help.
Yeah, so mainly on this conclude slide type thing, in a lot of situations going to the shops, as soon as I'm past 3 items, I'm forgetful, I need to make a list.
Same.
But yeah, this type of talk and a Kevlin style thing, which is a stream of theme of ideas, and it's really hard to make a summary. But in other talks, it could be quite easy to go and distill it down to 2 or 3 at the end. This is your take home.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So the take home, hopefully, is that one, hopefully I've somewhat either inspired you or enlightened you to how us young folk, not that young, so young people will be offended by that. Yeah, I'm in the same generation as them as well, but I really don't feel like it. But that's hopefully the idea. It's a broad range. It's here's the idea. It's basically I want you to feel more confident in speaking. That was my aim. And how I'm going to help you do that is by making a fool of myself on stage, but also trying to convey how trying to do your best at not being a fool eventually makes you better at doing these technical talks. As I said, at one point further in my career, I do hope to get a bit more technical. And then I'll have the fun bit of you asked, how on earth am I going to do that in a presentation? It was this is fluffy stuff, and I've struggled, so blimey. Hello, yes.
So I want to also mention that I know from my own experience, I want to mention that the people who get up on stage and are experienced people, they have started at some point as a starting presenter as well.
Yeah.
And I very well remember when I gave my first conference presentation at ACCU that I was freaking nervous.
Yeah.
I actually remember that I blanked and I stood there dumbfounded in front of a slide. I couldn't read what is on the slide. It didn't make any sense. I lost the entire track what to say about. I went fuck. I need to turn around and tell them to, I need to stop, and then okay, let me try and get back into it. It was horrible. was really, I hated it. Turned out afterwards, people said, yeah, for a few seconds, you didn't know what word you were looking for. It's for minutes. It's my aging. You're confused, right? It's kind of.
It sounds entertaining.
Right? But it's kind of, but you get over that, right? You present, you do it again, you get just more used to it. And then obviously some people actually also develop a nice and entertaining style. But I'm also relatively convinced that Kevlin's first talks, he was also nervous, I'm sure.
It's a good thing to know. Oh, we've got 10 minutes. I thought we had no time. Amazing.
So going back to you editing your slides on the train.
Yes.
Are you aware that that is so common, and especially by Kevlin Henny, that it is known as doing?
I mean, I did do it, to be fair, even though I said I wouldn't do it.
He edits the slides up to the point of getting on stage and while on stage.
That is
So-
exactly. You have so much time and power to spend when, like, I could have, in that time, instead of just sitting there in silence for like 30 seconds, I could have gone and checked my slides and realized that, oh, wait, that one's in the wrong order, and then moved them around without you knowing. So I wasted an opportunity there. But now I know. So maybe in the next one.
Hey, Jack, how brave are you feeling? Do you want to bring up XKD 657? Because I feel it's relevant to your story.
657?
Yeah, 657.
What do you mean?
XKCD.
Oh, right. Okay, go to a web page. Sorry.
If that's going to work, yeah.
Wibbly wobb. Oh, where's the thing? It's okay. It's up here. I think. Hang on. Where is it? This is very
For the audience,
Oh,
this
hang
is a
on.
double
Okay,
test. 'Cause
right.
Jack could have said no, absolutely not. But
what was
we're
it?
going with this. So this is cool. Keep going.
What was it?
657.
657.
Yeah, I think it's just /657, and everything just happens after
Slash
that.
657.
Yeah.
Edge case.
XKCD. Is this only a Generation X thing? Does no one? Who doesn't know about XKCD?
It's how difficult this is.
Now I can't see what I'm typing.
Exactly.
Crowdsourcing at work.
XKCD.
You saw it here first.
Too many.
Oh wow.
Yep, let me out.
Right. How do we need to
Maximize.
Hang on.
Don't close it.
Oh, out there.
Don't close it.
Yes.
Okay, so
I can't scroll, by the way. Oh no, I can if I get the mouse over here.
yeah, zoom in a bit. Yeah. So I think we should have an audience poll. That's like, which of those movie plots do you think is best reflected in Jack's talk? Is it Primer or 12 Angry Men?
Wow. Oh, what's that? Yeah. Thank you very much. By the way, thank you for all coming. I didn't say that. I don't think. Any more?
I think you're.
Oh, I'd like to go over here. Sorry, Joshua. I'm going to cut you off because these people haven't spoken at all. Not that I don't very much enjoy your comments, Joshua.
I just want to say I found a good way of getting into presenting is to do it on Teams, like online, because you're not stood up in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And you can also write a script beforehand, so you don't even have to worry about what to say.
Yeah. Well, I actually, I started a new job 3 months ago, and I've been doing, it's sort of IT support, but I've also been doing some like packaging for like doing silent installs on people's computers. And to do that, we've got a code base and it's all PowerShell stuff. And there's some, when you want to update to a latest application, you have to do some intricate things make sure that the installer works. Because I didn't know that some EXEs are just hidden MSIs. That's fun. So I've learned that. But I had to, I went and did a little Teams talk to the rest of the global team, doing a little tutorial on how to do it, given that I'd only ever done it like twice. and I basically had my colleague / mentor behind me, like catching me every time I was like, oh, I don't really know this bit. And then he'd come in and explain it. So yeah, having that like Dr. Nefario person really can help, especially when you're doing like a first talk, someone to like lean back onto in those sort of situations. Yeah, I really agree.
Yeah. So just to follow on something, I think it was Patrick said about the audience wants you to succeed. Just to recount some stories. I mean, at one point I fell off the stage, and people just, you get back on, you carry on. As long as you carry on and you don't make that run away screaming, then the audience is fine. And also then at one point then I forgot to plug my laptop into the mains, or forgot to turn the switch on or something, so it just died mid-presentation. One of the audience members gave me their laptop so I could carry on. No, people want you to succeed. They will help as long as you don't actually panic and run away. Everything will go fine.
Yeah.
Internalizing that is so important as a presenter. I mean, even now, then it's like, no, you still have to go. You go on and you have to think, okay, well, what can go wrong today? How can I deal with it? It's all going to be fine. No, yeah. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Yeah, falling off the stage, not fun. But in the maybe you feel a bit shaken and you get a bruise, but hey, it's okay. You can just keep going, and yeah, the audience wants you to succeed, and it's not going to be a big problem. Don't panic. Indeed.
There you go. Well,
the exception to that might be a room full of 10 to 12-year-old Catholic students. I was invited to give a talk on programming and software engineering to a group of kids.
Yeah.
And you got 30 or 40 10 and 12-year-olds who don't want to be there.
Right. Oh, okay. So they haven't had a forced gun, but they've
they were marched in the line, so it was almost that bad. But what made it really good for me was there was one young lady at the end who stayed back to talk to me about it.
Yeah.
And so that made the whole thing. The rest of them, they just left and didn't look back. But the one young lady, she had some interest, and we had a one-on-one conversation. So
I think that's an amazing point. As Gail said, like even if everyone hates it and no one enjoys your talk, chances are if you just impact one person positively in the crowd, your talk's been worth it. So it doesn't matter if an expert isn't going to learn anything new. If you've impacted one person, then as I said, it was worth getting up on there and giving a talk. Hopefully I've done that. I don't know.
One of the things that I was going to say is, like, I know in my local meetup, I have a bit of a rough and ready presentation style because I'm deliberately trying to make a welcoming environment that you don't need to be perfect to do these presentations, and encourage other people to do presentations that aren't myself. Yet I somehow still have a psychological barrier to be standing where you are and doing a presentation.
Do you want to come and try?
No, I've done a lightning talk. I'm fine. But I know it's just my own psychological barrier of going.
You're doing well. You've done bloody well. Sorry, that has to be cut. To ask these questions though, so like you shouldn't worry. Sorry, that some people I feel struggle to even ask questions in fear of like, how dare you ask me a question? You're wrong. That is completely wrong. So, like, that takes the first step of bravery to presenting. You start with asking questions, and then you start telling people answers, I guess.
This is more of a comment, but your anecdote from GCSE English reminded me of my own English teacher who gave me the advice, try to make me laugh, or try to make the marker laugh, in essays. And it reminds me, ostensibly here, the objective is to inform, right? But actually, like, what you've done very well, actually, in my opinion, is you've been entertaining.
Oh, thank you.
It's been funny, and actually, sort of, it's easier to take it to heart or the points that you're making when You know, it's not just, you know, dry or, you know, whatever, but, you know, you put a smile on it, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very important point. You know, if you can actually sort of make it engaging, you know,
Yeah.
make it, because, you know, the technical stuff, even the fluffy stuff can be sort of word salad if, you know, if it's not presented.
I mean, it was at some points, I'm sure.
Well, no, but you that's, I guess, your personal style, right? You know,
Yeah.
as Gail said.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm a little bit of the same. You know, I see a little bit of
Yeah.
that. But yeah, it's sort of if you can entertain, then it just makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the
And
audience and
just
for you
think,
as well.
you know, there's a whole TV show called You Beam Frames where people go wrong, and that's like on TV for so long. So like, as long as you know, if you go up and do things wrong, at least you're entertaining, right? I guess.
Because I read I read a couple of weeks back. You know, humor is nothing but like relief. Really, we laugh at like things because, you know, ostensibly they're bad, but actually it's sort of like if we make light of it. You know.
Yeah. Very well put.
Yes. Thank you.
Anyone else, or is that it? We are done. I don't want to hold you any longer unless someone has an absolutely dying comment to make. Last chance. Thank you very much.